This is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I'm the fellow who has a hyphen in my name. The hyphen is silent, but I am anything but that. Sarah, we always start with a good morning, which is a democratic way of saying good morning to the world. And
Good.
we hope that everybody is experiencing a lovely sunrise and fresh air and all those good things. So, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, we have this morning in our discussion is part of the Compass Point series, and this one is a life discussion. And we're
Mhm.
talking this morning about the beauty of darkness. My
Mhm.
name is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley, so you might immediately think, oh, he's dark. And
I don't think so.
all right, well, I'm light and bright. But anyway, I'm the voice of Respectonomics, and Sarah is our co-host. And we're going to talk about the beauty of darkness.
Mm.
Sarah, I don't know if I'm dating myself, but do you remember Joan Baez? And she used to sing those folk songs.
No.
Okay, I'm dating myself.
It may
Okay,
not
so
be that you're dating yourself. It may just be that I've not been exposed. I've had
well,
exposure.
Joan Baez was a beautiful singer, and she had this one song which I think was actually by a number of artists, but it was "To Everything There Is a Season."
Yes.
Time to this and a time for that.
Yes.
Anyway, the point of this story is that we're talking about darkness as part of the human and the natural cycle. Now,
Mhm.
generally speaking, when you think about darkness, there's a part of you that thinks about it as rather gloomy, possibly even frightening. Possibly, if you up the ante, you might even say demonic. But the truth of the matter is, darkness in itself is beautiful. It's the risk of what happens under the cover of darkness, those actions that can be so damaging and so abusive. So we're going to agree that we're not talking about the nasties under the cover of darkness. We're just talking about darkness in and of itself as a beautiful component of our human living.
It's funny because it's all about perspective, right? Whereas
Mhm.
I personally think about darkness as calm, quiet, relaxation.
Mhm.
Without darkness, you can't recognize the beauty of light.
I think we can almost close off on that because that's exactly where I was going.
Well,
And
no,
that
let's
is,
explore it. Let's explore
yeah.
it.
Well, I think we will because I want to say a few things about darkness. First of all, as you point out, it is part of the alter ego to light. And in and of itself, it is beautiful. I mean, we talk about people, who look so good in a dark suit or a
Mm.
dark tie or a dark something or other. Darkness in and of itself can be extraordinarily attractive and almost alluring. So we know
Contrast.
it is a contrast. And here's a few things about darkness, though, that are very important. One of the most important parts to the puzzle is that is also when plants do their growing. So,
Yes.
in other words, we humanly use a great deal of energy, as do plants, during the daytime.
Hmm.
And because we're using in the plant life, it's called photosynthesis,
Right.
which, by the way, is from the Greek. All right, okay, enough. I won't go anymore. But anyway, it's to do with the fact that a plant uses a great deal of energy converting the sugars and the light and everything. And when it does that, then the night comes along, and that's when the plant grows. In our human life, one of the most extraordinary things is, I don't know if you ever do puzzles, crosswords, Sudokus, and all those kinds of things, and Wordles, and you get jammed up and you put it away. And why is it that the next morning it's clear as daylight, that you
Mm,
see the answer sitting
love
right in front of you? It's beautiful.
that.
It's a
Mhm.
lovely recognition of what the darkness, if you want to call it the darkness, the night has delivered. So we know we grow, we know we get educated in the middle of the night without us doing anything about it. It is
Restorative.
it's restorative, which is exactly your original point, that it is in fact a place of rest, a place of comfort, and a place of getting away from the hurly-burly of life. But there's another thing too about it that's very valuable, and that is when we're in that place of so-called darkness and we're growing, we also manage to turn out the light. And you might say, well, yeah, but isn't that one and the same? Yeah, it is. But think of all the science that is going in nowadays into the risks of excessive light. We talk about light pollution, And that's in the sort of the big city life where you don't get to see the universe because there's too many lights and you can't see the stars or the
Yeah.
moon or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that.
So, and the other part is this though. When I'm in that place of darkness, again, I'm talking now very much as the human being. One of the things, and we've all been told this, I don't know how many times, is not to look at your computer screen
Mm.
or your iPhone or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of anatomical engineering that explains what in fact happens when you excessively look at a screen. I think it overstimulates, and I'm not sure of all the other things it does. But when you look at people today and you find that they're on edge, and you find out that they're constantly getting flows of information, most of which they can do nothing about.
Right.
But those flows of information excite the body in ways where we get into the flight and what's it called?
Fight or flight.
Fight
Yes.
and flight. It gets us doing those things. So you read about some horror story, in a remote part of the world, and it gets you all worked up. In other words, we can get very excited by light without being able to do anything about it, except the body doesn't understand that, and it gets excited.
Mm.
So, in other words, what the value of the darkness is to put away those things that excite parts of our body reflexively and allow us to get that rest that we can all enjoy. If you go to bed, you typically draw the blinds, you typically, turn lights out. It's a normal occurrence. And a lot of people will say they have a great deal of difficulty being able to sleep when the lights are on.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not universal. But the point I'm getting to is understanding this beauty of the darkness, understanding that it's cyclical, it's a seasonal, whatever you would like to call it, it comes in one point of the day and it leaves at another part of the day. And when we allow the rhythm in our body to coincide with the rhythm of nature, that is when we find out more things about our own selves and allow ourselves to reach levels that we probably didn't even know we had within us.
Mm.
I think it's good for the body. We know that. We think the darkness is good for the mind. Let it go. And it is also a wonderful place for the soul to go and rest, for that inner being to be able to take comfort and be able to regenerate.
Right.
And I just want to conclude with one comment, if I may.
Yes, of course.
And that is, we often think of darkness, or no, I shouldn't say often, but when people think of darkness as the dark parts of their lives, the things that haven't gone right,
Hmm.
I want to remind something that I was told recently, that it's out of all those pains and sufferings and the toils and those dark places that often that the human being exhibits the greatest creativity.
Mm.
And you look at some of the world's most extraordinary people and what they've achieved, and you find out that they had some very dark places in their lives,
Right.
but out of it has come this creativity. So that's why, in a velvety sense, I think we should look at darkness in the context of beauty.
I love it.
I rest my case.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for being a champion of Respectonomics. When you share this message, you help multiply its reach and contribute to a stronger, more respectful life and business culture.